I like that. There's bite, there's aggression. You may have seen me play this guitar in some of my videos. It's a Nick Johnston traditional signature from Schecter. On paper, it's one of the best spec Strats out there. We're looking at an alder body, a roasted maple neck with an ebony fretboard, locking tuners, and a 2-point trem. It's obviously HSS, and you can split that humbucker with this little tone knob here. I don't think this model gets enough recognition, so I borrowed this from Schecter, and I borrowed a second one, which is 3 single coils, so a little bit more traditional. And in this video, we're going to find out if they're any good. So first up, let's have a listen to this. Let's give it the old humbucker treatment and see what happens then. There are some great Stratty sounds in this, and I purposefully did not do any flashy playing, just that G chord and a little bit of a lick to keep it interesting, because I really want you to hear these pickups. And I really want to hear these pickups, because I haven't yet put this through an amp. So the green one I've played in several videos, and I've really enjoyed the traditional Strat sounds, but it isn't really the traditional Strat setup. So let's have a listen to the single coil version. Now, I promise things get a little less geeky for a while, and I'm actually going to make some music. But unplugged, these sound very different to me. So this one sounds quite open and rich, and to me, a better guitar. And this one still sounds good, but it doesn't quite jump out as much as the black one, which could be something to do with the guitar, it could be the strings, it could be anything. This one seems to have a more flat response unplugged, and the black one seems to have more dynamics, which I did say there wouldn't be any more geeky stuff when I make some music. So let me play something for you to show that off. Let's compare them in a kind of genre style. So I'll choose some genres that show off a Strat, and we'll see what happens. So this is neck pickup with the D1 on dual delay. I don't know if this is a placebo effect, but I prefer the sound of this one over the green one. And whether you agree or disagree with that, I'd love to talk about why I think that is. And it could be the fact that there is a humbucker in the green one, and that's got more magnetic pull on the strings at the bridge. It could be the fact that black paint sounds better than green paint. It could be that this has a slightly better setup out of the factory than the green one. Or it could just be that because I prefer this, I play it better. I have no idea. But what is for sure is that they are spec'd the same, except for that humbucker and that push-pull splitting on the humbucker. Let's dive into the specs a bit more, because this is in fact not black. It is what Schecter call atomic ink, but it definitely looks like gloss black to me. We've got a full thickness body on this, so it's not like a modern version of a Strat. It really looks like a 50s kind of body to me. As for the maple neck, the roasted maple neck, it is one of the silkiest necks I've ever touched, and it is higher quality than, let's say, the €300 sort of guitars you get that have roasted maple necks, say the Harley Bentons and the Jets. There's more shaping and time gone into this, because that is super smooth. The fretboard is ebony, but I'd forgive you if you think it was rosewood, because it's actually a very light ebony. And it's really cool to see companies using this more brown ebony, the less ebony, on the Strat style guitars. And in fact, on the green one, it's a bit darker. Can we see that? Is that possible? The ebony, of course, doesn't just come in black. It comes in various shades of darkness. That's reddish. That's more black. The necks are what Schecter call vintage C shape, but they feel a lot more like modern C to me. However, the fretboard radius on both is 14 inches, which is nowhere near vintage for me. And I think that is almost perfect for a Strat. And I kind of don't like 7¼ inch radiuses. I do prefer the bigger radiuses. And why not go all the way to 14? I think that's enough to please most people before you start getting into super flat territory. I'm going to put that down for a moment. The Graph Tech nut is featured on both guitars, so we've got a nice lubricated feel there. And I've had no sticking or popping or clicking when tuning or using the trem system. Speaking of the trem system, this is a Schecter Diamond trem. It's a 2-point trem, which of course is not vintage recipe, but I think this is another one of those alterations that Schecter has made to the Strat design that makes it a better guitar. Speaking of which, you might have noticed it's only got 2 knobs, volume and tone, and that volume is dropped down a little bit further, so you haven't got that classic Fender volume knob getting in the way when you're messing around in this area. And although not necessary on every guitar, these have fantastic locking tuners. These are made for Schecter or by Schecter, and they just work. They're very smooth, they're very responsive, and they're the exact level of quality that people might put on, say, a Mexican Fender to upgrade it. There's nothing about this that you need to upgrade. And that's one of the biggest plus points of this guitar over an actual Fender Strat, is that you're getting something that would cost a lot more if it had the big F on the headstock. But I'm talking a lot about the guitar rather than playing it, so let's get some more sound samples and see if this thing can do some funk. Third position, right in that middle there. Let's try 2 and 4, as I'm feeling funky. Let's try that on the green one. Again, to me, I hear a difference. This one appears to be louder. Don't know if it is. Right, let's get on some more sounds and get that humbucker a-pumping. I like that. There's bite, there's aggression, there's power there. Let's try it on the single coil, see how much difference this humbucker's making. That is more fun than I thought it was going to be, but I definitely prefer the humbucker. For the first time, I prefer the humbucker guitar. Great. But let's give it some blues. Let's give it some kind of... I can't play like Nick Johnston, but I give it some low gain blues. For that, I'm going to switch over to the Tone King. It's a great sound. It's a great amp, and that's doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but it's really, I think, showing what this guitar can do. And again, I feel bad for saying this, but I definitely prefer this to the green one. The green one feels just not quite there. Maybe I've got a special black one. I have no idea, but let's try something similar with this and see if it also holds up. It also sounds pretty good. It's louder. This is definitely louder, and I'm almost scared of this guitar. All right, I'm kind of done enough with the playing, even though I want to play them more. It's really hard for me to stop playing these guitars, but I want to have a look inside and see what's going on, weigh them, check the outputs of the pickups, find out if the pickups are outputting more or if they're just closer to the strings, which could be the case. The first thing I want to take a look at is the pickup output, because I can't believe they're the same. So that's bridge, which is obviously going to be different. That is 8.64. And then middle is 6.38, and then neck is 6.08, with positions 2 being 3.73 and 3.16. Now, this is clearly going to be different, but in humbucker mode, we've got the bridge as 11.49, middle 6.42, and 6.12. So really not that wildly different, with position 2 being 4.15 and position 4 being 3.15. And then humbucker split, 3.05 in position 2 and 5.76 in position 1. It's not that then. Let's check the distance from the strings. Now I'm just eyeballing it here, but the pickup just there, if we look at this neck pickup, is about flush with the fretboard. Yeah, but it is angled off slightly. And then let's take a look on the black one. Again, eyeballing it. That is lower. That's not flush with the fretboard. So I think it's just because that bridge one, that neck one certainly is lower down. So mystery solved. Let's take that pick guard off and have a look at what's going on in there. Bar out, and let's take the neck off. Moment of truth. Whoa! Okay, there's a big old swimming pool in there. I didn't expect that. That's the biggest cavity I've seen on a Strat ever, I think. Looking at the pickups, it is really cool to see some vintage cloth wiring. And then you've got plenty of wire left over should you ever want to do anything with them. However, it is nice and tidy in there. That is super tidy. Let's take a look at the solder joints. Solder joints look good. These are made in Korea Jinsung pots. Then we've got a vintage style switch. There's not much going on really, is there? Let's find out if this here is conductive paint. It is. And in fact, it's pretty well done. That's more conductive than most cavities that I work on. Wow. Fantastic. Now let's have a look at what's going on in here. So we've got a big block, 3 parallel springs, and a well-soldered ground wire. It doesn't look that exciting, but I guess that's a good thing because it works, and things that just sometimes work aren't that exciting. Put it back on. Now, it would be wrong of me to assume that the green one is also built the same, so let's crack that one open as well. And same story. Okay, same block. Oh no, not same story. This is not parallel, so slightly different feel on the trem. I didn't notice it, if I'm honest, but yeah, that is again not very interesting, but it would be interesting if there was something wrong. I'm glad it's a little boring. Here we go. Another huge swimming pool with some feathers or fluff or something in there. That looks like someone's been wearing a downy jacket, and whilst they're working on it. Okay, weird. Right, we've got the same pickups in the neck and the middle as the other one, but this one is the 78 humbucker. Yeah, vintage wiring, another 5-way switch, and this one is a push-pull. So exactly what I hoped for, and yeah, that's some really tidy cable work there, Schecter. Well done. So this is truly a vintage Strat with some modern refinements. The 2-point trem, the volume and tone, this switch, which is still 5-way, and it's lovely and switchy. It's very reliable. Of course, this one has the humbucker. Locking tuners, which are welcome on any guitar. Roasted maple neck, of course. But most importantly for me, on any guitar, this has a spoke wheel truss rod adjustment. There's no need to adjust the truss rod here. It's archaic. And inside, when you have to take the pick guard off, that's insane. Right here, right there, with a spoke wheel adjuster, that's where every truss rod should be adjustable, if possible. And if you think it looks ugly, then maybe you just shouldn't look at that part of the guitar, because it is the best place. I know what you're thinking. How much do they weigh? Well, let's find out. That is 3.55 kilos, which is 7 pounds 12 ounces. And the black one is, I think, a bit lighter. No, exactly the same. Okay, again, I'm trying to favor that black one, which is 7.7 pounds. Oh, might be a bit heavier. It's about the same. Quick, cover that up. So yes, the Nick Johnston traditional Schecters are being wrongly ignored on the guitar market. I think these are some of the best Strats I've ever played, genuinely. Some of the best build quality in that price range. I think they should scare Fender, and if these had a thick neck, I would absolutely be buying one myself. I don't need another single coil Strat, but this is so comfortable to play, and the neck is so smooth. And it sounds great, and it's got all the right stuff on it that I want. That one's pretty good as well. But this one, if it had a thick neck, it would be mine. Sadly, it doesn't. So thank you, Schecter, for letting me borrow these guitars. If you would like to buy one of these, I'll put links to them underneath the video and in the first comment. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, you can click up there. Please do that. It'll make me smile. Okay, I'll see you in another one. Bye-bye!